Hey everybody, it's Pete from Meadville Tribune. I got after a low energy start, but we'll try to correct that for the rest of the show. It's time for what is Sideline Confidential today for the
Today is the January 15th.
January
That's
15th.
where we're airing it. I think it's still the 15th.
Yes, it's still the 15th. It hasn't turned yet. We don't know. Is it episode 18 or 19? We're not sure.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
Which is a good sign that we've been doing the podcast for so long that we're starting to forget the number.
Yeah,
So.
And we're also kind of late. I guess we're a day late. We just I got back late from Erie because I got lost in Erie last night. I was leaving the McDowell Meadville game, and I got lost in the backwoods of East Erie, West Erie, I guess it is. Found my way home eventually. So I didn't feel like recording last night. So we're a day late, and we're also a man short because we don't have Matt. He's off today, and we wanted to make sure we got something out for you guys. However many of you are for the week. So what's up, Jordan?
Nothing much, The high school sports are in full swing, so we're keeping busy. Everything's been going on. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of in the dog days of the winter season, I guess you could say.
Yeah, not much time left until the postseason gets started. It's mid-January, I think. About a month, and then the first round of basketball starts the 14th and 15th.
Wrestling starts.
Sections start the 15th as well. Yeah, so those are going to be some busy weekends coming up. Speaking of wrestling, today's Wednesday. Me and you were both at matches tonight. I went and saw Cathedral Prep at Meadville. Cathedral Prep won that one 50-24. Both teams were missing a lot of wrestlers. It seems like that flu bug is really wreaking havoc in a lot of the area schools. I know Cash and Titusville had to cancel their match today because Cash was depleted really bad because of the flu, and it was weird. It seemed like a small school match because I think Prep was missing 4 guys, Meadville was missing 3 guys. There's a bunch of forfeits, a lot of booing, a lot of grumbling from the stands. But Prep, they still in the matches they won a bunch. Avery Brunson had a nice win for Meadville. Tommy Pollard had a nice win for Meadville. Trying to think if anybody else did for Meadville. They did okay. And Prep's got 2 defending state champions on the team. Dorian Crosby didn't get to wrestle, but Panero Johnson did. Boy, is he strong. They're 45 pounder? No, 52. Yeah, he pinned Winston Hagee in a minute 14. It looked like Hagee had a nice headlock on him, and then Panero Johnson just kind of hipped him onto his back and got the pin. That kid is incredibly strong. You were where tonight?
I was at Cambridge Springs for a pretty big Region 3 match. Cambridge ended up being the winner. I think it was 46-28.
46-28. That's correct.
Yeah. And it was just really a lot of pins. A lot of kind of like over just the matchups just didn't seem to really make for a lot of really close battles. The only 2 that I think ended up going the distance were major decisions. So just kind of one of those days where one wrestler has the edge and he takes control, and but Cambridge Springs ended up coming out the winner on that. That moves them into 4th.
Yeah, they were both tied in the region, weren't they?
They were tied going in, and now Cambridge is in sole possession of 4th, which I think is big because I think that puts them into that would put them into the playoffs.
Oh, would it?
I think that's what they're saying, is that they would get to go to, they would be in like a
quarterfinals
playoff
or something
before the the actual section,
the dual meet event.
The actual dual meet.
Event. Yeah,
because I remember going to that. I think it was Sagertown versus General McLean was one of those last year.
Yeah,
and
sounds right.
I think being in the top 4 gets you a chance to do that. So Cambridge needs to. They were talking about that. This is a good confidence boost for them going into next week because they have a big match against Union City. So if they win that, I think they could even move up higher, or either that or they just keep Union City at bay.
Yeah.
But
Union City got to win tonight over Youngsville. Is that next week that Union City?
It is, yes.
Okay. And then we also got Sagertown. Eisenhower is going to be at Sagertown next Wednesday. That's going to be a big one for, I think, Sagertown to clinch 2nd.
Right. It looks like it's them.
Corey's in
I think
first,
Union City's behind Cambridge. That's right. I was looking at the standings. Union City's behind Cambridge because it's Corey, Sagertown, Eisenhower, the 3 up top. and then there's Cambridge, and then the Congleton and Union City are right behind them.
I think Union City only got 2 wins. They got their second one tonight over Youngsville. Yeah, Sagertown beat Maplewood tonight, and we didn't get a box score, so there's going to be nothing in tomorrow's paper. Hopefully we could find a box score to get in the following day's paper and Saturdays. That's wrestling. Basketball last night, I was, like I mentioned before I got lost, I found my way just fine to McDowell High School and saw McDowell beat Meadville. Meadville was down 3 starters in that game. 1 was out with an injury. 2 were out with academic issues, and Meadville was already pretty deep into its bench by the time it started the game against the biggest school in District 10. And McDowell ended up winning that one by the score of 67-42. But I tell you what, the Meadville kids, the kids that made it to the game last night, they really they really worked hard. They hustled, man. They hustled for rebounds. They hustled for loose balls. They were giving up a lot of height to these guys, but they moved and they really made up for a lot of it with just effort. And it was really cool to see. They were only down 9 at the half. I think they got it down to like 8 or 7 in the third quarter, but then they just ran out of steam. They were only subbing in like 3 guys the whole night. McDowell went 13 deep, as they can, and they also have like a Division I guy in William Jefferson, another who knows where this Jaden Jefferson's going to go. He's another really good kid, 6'6". So McDowell, so it was cool to see that Meadville can still be somewhat dangerous team even with some of their guys not there, because they have a lot of big games coming up, and who knows who's going to be available and who isn't. But they're still they still scrap. Coach McElhaney still gets those kids to play their hearts out, and that's what it's going to take down the stretch here.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme, they're not really in the same. They're not in the same classification.
No.
So, but it is for region title. It definitely hurts. But if there's you get some experience for your bench players to play big minutes against a really strong team, that might actually help them down the road.
Yeah. Oh. And you went to a game last night?
I went to Maplewood, Jamestown non-region game. And Maplewood, built up a 20-4 lead. It's a team that sometimes has their struggles just getting a lid off the rim. They get open shots, and sometimes it's hard for them to knock them down. But against Jamestown, they really had no trouble. Joe Cox, I think, led the way with 20 points, and he shot well over 50% from the field. He was definitely really skilled at driving it in there against the Jamestown team that has a lot of size.
That's why I was surprised that Jamestown, they've had some pretty decent performances so far. They're not too far under 500. I didn't think that they would. Good for Maplewood for getting out to such a big lead on them.
Yeah, and Jamestown, their schedule is always kind of tough because they're constantly playing in the non-region games. They're constantly playing bigger schools. There aren't that many schools their size that they get to go up against. No. But I think Jamestown will be fine in their region. I think the Commodore Perry and Tidiute are definitely competition they can beat. But I think it's kind of a confidence booster for Maplewood, who is. Sean Root said, my team is really in need of a win. I think they had lost 3 straight.
There's some tough ones, too. They lost to Quarry and they lost to Cambridge, both by pretty big margins.
Yeah, so I think it's just a little bit of a confidence booster, maybe get them back on track and a little bit more competitive in their region.
Also on Tuesday, and this was a tough day for me to figure out what games we were going to go to, because I knew Meadville had an uphill battle, and then we had Lakeview Farrell. That was for first place in that region, but I'm like, I don't know how well Lakeview's going to do against Farrell, and I don't want to have 2 lopsided losses in the front page tomorrow. So we went to Jamestown Maplewood, and it turns out Lakeview had they played pretty well against Farrell. They only lost 45-38. What were you saying to me that pretty much every score?
I think every Lakeview game will always be like 45-38, and it's nothing really against them. They just like they like to slow it down.
Deliberate.
And they like to run their offense. They wait for their good shot. They don't. Which normally Lakeview is probably not going to score 80 points that way, but they normally never allow more than 50. So that allows them to stay in every game, even against really, really strong teams like Farrell. I know Farrell still has a ton of talent. I know a lot of their football players cross over into basketball. They just have a really strong team, and Lakeview, they're competitive with everybody. I think they're right at the top of that region. They should be. Might be another year where they're in the state playoffs.
They were the same. They were that way under Coach Burke for years and years and years. That was just their style. That's the way they played. And Burke's gone on to the girls. Garrett Blaschak has taken over at Lakeview, and it stayed the same way. They're still playing the same style, and as you said, it still keeps them competitive. It keeps them in every single game they're in. You can never quite count out Lakeview.
I don't think they've ever taken a defensive possession off. I've never seen them. Every defensive possession, they're locked in, and you have to earn a basket on them.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough to play against. Also on Tuesday, Cambridge Springs stayed unbeaten in region play with a 59-35 win over Eisenhower. Cockerton, how about Cockerton? They picked up their second win of the season. They beat Union City. That was kind of a shocker. 54-49 on Tuesday. Cockerton, they had such a rough start to the year. I think they were 0-9 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then bang, they start picking up wins when nobody's really expecting it. They almost had another one tonight. I believe they went to overtime with George Jr. George Jr. ended up winning at 64-62 in overtime. So they almost had a win streak going. Cockerton. So look out for Cockerton. I mean, they're going to play a giant killer, I think, this next part of the season.
And they've been a team that's been good for the past couple of years, at least since I've been here. They've always been good. And I think that it's a kind of only a matter of time before they at least get some wins off their belt. I know it's kind of a rebuilding year, but it was only a matter of time before they started winning games and really causing some fits for teams.
Yeah, because they do have some pretty good athletes, and I think they do have a coach that knows what he's doing in Phil Canfield. And then they seem to be turning it around and getting taste for victory and trying to get more. Speaking of teams that needed to win, Sagertown, they lost Tuesday to Youngsville 60-47, but they turned it around today and beat Commodore Perry 44-28. Brady Greco, 15 points, 10 assists for the Panthers. Jaden Wilkins, 8 points, 10 rebounds. Also yesterday, Cash, they got their third win in a row. They beat Slippery Rock 66-54. So good for them. Let's see. That's pretty much all the local sports. Then we had
any of the girls' basketball. Anything happen like Monday? Or
girls' basketball Monday. Let's look at the Meadville Tribune and see what it says. I was at the Meadville Slippery Rock game. Slippery Rock girls, they look pretty good. They beat Meadville 51-47. They were tough. Neither team could shoot real well to start the game, but then Slippery Rock got the lid off, and then they just started pouring in shots, and they just stifled Meadville offensively. Meadville, really wasn't being real creative with the ball and was just trying to shoot from the right wing, and Slippery Rock was just eating them up, forcing turnovers, getting rebounds, and they ended up beating Meadville 61-34. Sorry, 61-34. So yeah, it was pretty kind of a lopsided. You were off Monday.
I was off, but I heard from Lisa said that Maplewood just shoots the lights out, and they beat Iroquois, who's got some really really good players in the Miola sisters.
Apparently, Coach Krebs wasn't too happy with that game, and that I think Maplewood had itself like a pretty comfortable lead. Not without a doubt, but they were up by like 12 or so, and they started doing some silly things with the ball, and maybe not taking shots that were smart or doing things real well, and it allowed Iroquois to keep coming back and threatening that lead and putting them in danger, and it was just a little bit more nerve-wracking than I think they wanted. So it was still a W. They're still in charge of the region, and I think maybe they got a lesson in how to handle themselves, down the road, that they can't take days off, that they can't take plays off, as you mentioned earlier. They have to, if they have the advantage, they're going to have to, I don't like the saying, but put the foot on the neck, just get that win and not leave things in doubt. Let's see, Cambridge, a big one, Cambridge Cochrane that was Monday night as well. Cambridge rallied from an 8-point deficit to beat the Cardinals 59-48. So that was another good one there. Maddie Yance had 17 points for Cambridge in that one. That's going to be boy, that's going to be quite a finale for that region 2 in girls basketball, because as Lisa was saying, Maplewood's, right now separating themselves, but, the next 4 teams underneath there, they could all knock over anybody, on any given night, and Maplewood's not entirely safe up there as well. That's going to be a fun finish for that region, I think.
And, playoff time, seeding's important, that could be the difference between playing a team with 20 wins
absolutely.
and a team with 15, that just sets you up.
Jamestown girls got their first win on Monday night. They beat Rocky Grove 33-26. Am I reading this right? I need glasses. 33-26, yeah. Sagertown beat Eisenhower 55-30. Cash had a good one against Hickory. They ended up losing 43-37. Hickory's a very good team. They're 9-4 on the season. Connie had only had they're 3-10, but they only ended up. They only lost by 6 points. So that's pretty good for them. Hopefully they bring it around too. Lakeview 50-35 over Sharpsville. Lakeview's 10-2 on the year, 1-1 in Region 4. They're having a good year. You saw them last Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, they're good. Gary Burke's got that team. He's got that team going.
Kind of the same thing. It sounds like.
Yeah, tenacious defense.
I don't know. Did you stay up late at night Monday to watch the college football national championship?
I did. I ended up watching it, and it's I really thought Clemson was going to win. I just you get to that point where a team hasn't lost in over 2 years, and you just think they can't lose. And I knew LSU was the favorite going in, but I thought Clemson was going to use that and really fire them up. And it kind of did to start the game. I think Clemson opened up a 17-7 lead. But that LSU offense is unbelievable. That quarterback is something special, Joe Burrow. Yeah, amazing that he had to transfer out of Ohio State just to get playing time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild, and they switched their offense for him, and credit to them. That's great coaching to go with the air raid where they just throw it all the time.
Uh-huh.
And he ended up breaking the NCAA record for passing touchdowns in a season. Yeah, 60 passing touchdowns. Past Colt Brennan, who played out in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah, and doing that in the SEC is something even more impressive. Really, everything for this kid. I mean, now his reward is gets to play for the Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals.
which is disappointing. But I mean, if there's any quarterback that would want it, it's Joe Burrow, who's from that area. So I mean, he seems like he's adopted that he's settled with the Bengals, and he's pretty excited for it. So.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have much choice, I don't think.
Right? No, he doesn't. Doesn't have any choice. But I mean, LSU, credit to them. I love their coach. He sounds like a Louisiana alligator.
Yeah,
like a cartoon alligator would sound.
How do you say his last name?
Oh, Orgeron.
Orgeron. Okay.
Yeah, but he is the epitome of LSU, and it's cool to see. Cool to see something like that where it's like a hometown guy being the head coach of the team, and then having that team win. I guess now there's some issue with Odell Beckham Jr. handing out money.
What's going on with that? I kind of saw a little bit of it on social media.
After the game, Odell Beckham Jr. started just handing out money, and LSU said, I think it was LSU reported that it was fake money, like Monopoly money or something. And Joe Burrow said on Barstool Sports' Pardon My Take podcast that it was real money. So now the NCAA is investigating LSU.
Oh my God.
And it's all because Odell Beckham Jr. did like kind of a funny thing that he thought was fun.
He has to know that he can't do that. He
definitely knows. He definitely knows because he himself was a student athlete. He knows you can't do that. Even though I think, of course, the reasoning for why the NCAA doesn't allow kids to get money is ridiculous. But
sure,
yeah, but I mean, the rules are the rules at the time, and Odell Beckham Jr., all he is screwing over these players. Really.
Unbelievable.
And his alma mater. But it's, Odell Beckham Jr. is, I think he loves being the star of the show, kind of loves being the ringleader. I think Orgeron was doing his post-game speech, and you just hear Odell Beckham Jr. in the background just shouting stuff during the speech. It's crazy. But,
that's no way. Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham Jr. folks.
Oh yeah, that's the other big story from the weekend is the Browns got a coach.
I have no idea who this guy is.
He was the Vikings offensive coordinator.
Okay, other than that, I have no idea.
That's all I know about him. I guess he's he's a younger guy again. It's to me it's kind of like a similar coaching hire to Kitchens.
Yeah.
Now maybe Stefanski's more polished, I guess, or more. I don't even know if he is. Can't really say. But it's another kind of like a young offensive coach to help Mayfield. I think that's kind of the right way to go. But you got to make sure this guy can lead, because your team, there's a lot. There was kind of a leader. There was a lost leadership there, at least this past year, where nobody really took the reins for it.
No.
Baker's still young, and he's still trying to learn to be that leader. And the coach kind of has to step in there, and hopefully Stefanski is the guy, because I don't know what else is going to happen.
What worries me is it seems like the Browns hired him because he's willing to toe the line that the Haslam's want him to.
That's what I heard too. That McDaniels was, I think, like the big name, the big fish.
Yeah.
And he had certain expectations that the ownership didn't want to appease, I guess, was the issue with him. And because McDaniels he's probably the coach in waiting in New England. If the job doesn't offer him all of the assurances that he wants, he can just say no.
Right.
And I think that's why he's been left out of these coaching hires lately, is because these owners don't want to cede stuff to Josh McDaniels. Yeah, it's interesting. I think
Stefanski has to report to the analytics crew and stuff like that. And go over game plans with the ownership.
Yeah, the guy from Moneyball, I think, is in the Browns organization. The Paul DePodesta.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of the lead guys. I think there's a good analytics has its merits, but I think when you let analytics just run everything, I think that gets a little bit too crazy. So I don't really know all the inner workings of it. I think they did a good call not hiring Brian Daboll from the Bills.
Really?
I'm not a huge Brian Daboll guy. Apparently teams liked him enough to interview him. I mean, the Giants even requested an interview, and for some reason the Bills said no to that one. I don't know why the Bills deny certain teams and not others. Yeah. But that was really strange to me. But I think. I didn't think Daboll would be a very good head coach, because kind of when the going gets tough, he kind of just yells at Josh Allen. Oh. So I don't know if the Browns needed that type of leader in there, but it should be interesting. I mean, I don't really know much about him. Hopefully he's good.
Yeah, I don't.
They run the ball. The Vikings ran the ball well. Hopefully they can. True. I mean, the Browns have good running backs. Hopefully they can.
Who knows what's going on?
Give them the ball.
I just hate to think, that the owner of Pilot J and his wife get to tell the Browns what plays to run.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The last thing you want is the meddling owner. That never works. Like having the owner who's a good businessman try to coach football or try to be in charge of football operations. It just rarely works.
I'm not excited. I'm not excited.
The hiring a coach normally brings out like a ton of excitement, and it stinks that it's like it stinks. What was your thoughts on Kitchens last year? Was it kind of the same? Just like, yeah.
Well, just he did seem to have such a positive impact on Baker Mayfield in the offense the last part of 2018 that I thought, well, why not? Maybe they could just keep that up, and they could not.
Yeah, no, I remember.
I know about these guys. They stare at their big menu and they talk in their headset. I don't really know what they're doing.
And to be honest, it's not really like we're not supposed to know. The fans aren't really supposed to know what they do. You're supposed to you can see it on the field.
You see the product,
yeah.
The product did not live up to expectations.
The product did not, no. And I guess in the other NFL news, another kind of a wild weekend. Not as wild as the wild card weekend where there were 2 overtime games and chaos everywhere.
Everywhere.
But divisional round, started off with a wild upset. The first game was kind of chalk. San Francisco just dominated Minnesota. Yeah. And the second game, Tennessee goes into Baltimore and shuts them down. Yeah. Tennessee, a wild team. I remember Tennessee earlier in the year. I think they had Marcus Mariota starting, and I mean they couldn't do anything against the Bills. The game I saw them play, and they couldn't do a thing. They started out 2-4, 2-5, and here they are in the AC title game.
That is pretty crazy.
Crazy, and it's like they didn't do a coaching change or anything. They just figured it out, and they did do switch over quarterbacks, which ended up. But Tannehill has not done much. I mean. He's thrown for less than 100 yards in both playoff games. He hasn't needed to do anything. They just ride Derrick Henry the whole way. Mm-hmm. And I was disappointed in Baltimore's performance. I think that, the receivers kind of let Jackson down. Jackson didn't have that great of a game. And Baltimore ended up only scoring 12 points in spite of having 500 yards of offense. Turnovers, that's football.
Yeah.
I bet as a Browns fan, you're pleased.
Oh yeah. Forget that. I'm trying to censor myself here, but yeah, the Ravens could take a long walk.
And then the wild game of the weekend was Houston, Kansas City. Houston opened up a 24-0 lead.
Wild.
And then just gave up 51 points in 20 minutes. Kansas City, I think, Kansas City to me looks like the team to beat. I think their offense is unbelievable. But their defense, still has question marks. Houston should not score 31 on anyone. They just have Watson and Hopkins, and that's kind of it.
Uh-huh.
And, so Kansas City versus Tennessee, I think Kansas City has a favorable matchup here. I just don't know if Tennessee can keep up. If Kansas City gets a lead, Tennessee will have to start throwing more, and that I don't think is a very good recipe for them.
Mm.
And in the NFC, Packers-Niners, just classic uniforms, classic teams, classic everything. Should be a good one.
Yeah, Sunday, 3:05, 6:40. Tennessee, Kansas City, 3:05. Green Bay, San Francisco, 6:40 on Sunday. Yeah, Green Bay, they advanced 28-23 over Seattle. Tight one there.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing to talk about sports-wise is just baseball fallout.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the heads are rolling.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what they decide to do with Cora, because Alex Cora, the Red Sox manager, just got fired by the Red Sox, but the investigation is still ongoing as to his involvement in both the Astros scandal and the Red Sox scandal, which...
Well, what more can they do with him, I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they could... I've heard some people clamoring for the Pete Rose lifetime ban, which is crazy to me. But I also this. I think is worse than Pete Rose. Pete Rose bet on his own team to win.
Right.
These guys are actively cheating to gain a massive advantage.
They're stealing signs, which is not illegal. It's not against.
It's not illegal, but I guess using the
technology.
Right.
So now he used technology.
Right.
Which is against the rules.
Right.
He did something that's not against the rules in a way that's against the rules.
Right.
It seems like it's a weird line that they stepped over.
Because stealing signs, if you're just in the dugout and you pick up on the sign, you're allowed to do that. But using a camera in the outfield or using, I don't even know how you use an Apple Watch. I can barely figure out an Apple Watch just to turn on music. And these guys are using it to steal signs. I don't know. I just don't someone made a good point about it. I think one of the blue check marks on Twitter made a good point about it, where they said this impacts so much stuff that you don't really focus on. Pitchers get shelled based on you stealing signs. Their arbitration number goes down, so it costs them millions. It costs these hitters millions. It costs, it's just it messes with the money. There's so much besides just wins and losses that it impacts that people don't really take into account. Bonuses, World Series. I mean, these two teams were the World Series winners. I think the Astros have 2, right?
Yeah.
And the Red Sox have 1 since Cora's been there. And it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty shady.
It's not good for the league, where it makes you wonder. It makes you question a lot more about any team that wins. What if the Nationals, you find out, have done cheating stuff too? Hopefully, it's just a few bad eggs, but I mean, it's just. I think it puts a black mark on a kind of a sport that's been kind of struggling for fans, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not good. I suppose you're right. Yeah, it is pretty good. I don't know.
I imagine he'll get 2 years. I don't think he'll get a lifetime ban. That seems extreme. I think that 2 years, he probably won't manage again. I mean, any team that brings him in, it'll be what are these guys up to? Or he'll have to kind of work his way back. He'll have to probably be a pitching coach or a hitting coach or something, be an assistant for a while, like improve his rep. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm surprised that they fired the GM for that.
Well,
the
that
GM
whole organization seems
yeah.
to be rotten. That
Yeah.
whole Astros organization.
With everything, I mean, they had so much
with
stuff.
that assistant GM getting canned right before the series, and this
and
whole thing.
him, it was just for saying stupid stuff, like crazy stuff. Like they just seemed like
everybody
a
out,
bad organization.
Everybody out.
Yeah, it's interesting because I always thought they were like the epitome of like doing it the right way until like this chaos storm where everything's shady and bizarre.
Yeah, it's quite the fallout lately. All right, that's sports for the week, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else on your mind?
No, I mean, got really nothing. It's kind of just a big sports week. We dealt with all our Star Wars issues last week.
I did get to see 1917.
Yeah, I was about to ask about like the Oscar nominations, and 1917 seems to be the favorite for everything. Yeah, what'd you think about it? I heard that someone called it the best war movie. I heard someone say that it's the best war movie of all time.
I don't know. It was pretty dang good.
Was it impressive? Like I hear, like visually, it's stunning.
Visually, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It was really intense. Like kind of when they're getting up out of the trenches and hitting in no man's land. I found myself like holding my breath, like, "Whoa, crap, what's going to happen?" Yeah. I'm just fascinated by World War I, and I think I was.
It's a war that really like. I feel like we don't learn that much about.
No,
because it's not really an American war.
No, we had such limited involvement in it.
Right.
As far as militarily, I think we did a lot of selling stuff to the
we made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's a war that I'm interested in. It's kind of like we're at like the 100-year mark of it ending.
This year. Or 19. No, 19 was the year.
Yeah, so a little bit past the 100-year mark, and it's kind of crazy because it was like a total catastrophe.
It just the Western Front. It's that whole system of warfare of just the trenches and the artillery bombardments and the no man's land and the barbed wire and the first tanks to come out. Those Mark IVs with those giant rhomboid treads and everything.
And neither side essentially gave an inch the entire time.
Yeah. You'd lose hundreds of thousands of people and
for
nothing.
Maybe like 10 yards.
Yeah, it's one of the most brutal conflicts ever. I mean, World War II, of course, had a larger body count and everything like that, but there's something about
the
Verdun and
tactics,
Passchendaele and
and all that.
Yeah, there's something about World War I that just seems real awful because there was so little. Not gained or lost, but it just doesn't seem like there was a good guy or a bad guy. Well,
it was just kind of like an ego war,
it was still the Royals.
Show something, and the French
Franz Ferdinand gets shot, so
their empire.
Yeah, Austria.
It was old empires versus like new ones, and it was just
old versus old, really.
Yeah, aside from like I guess you would call Germany and Italy.
Yeah,
like
Germany
new
was
powers,
new. Yeah.
But it was the Ottomans hanging on to their last grasp.
Yeah.
Austria-Hungary
gone.
Russia turning into a communist state.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, I hope there's more movies about it to come because I'm interested in it, and I know that like documentaries and podcasts can only do so much. Like you want to have somebody put you like. In the trenches and show you what it is, and I mean this movie. It seems like it's gonna win a lot of stuff and probably well deserved. The Oscars came out and the Oscar nominations came out, and it's in Best Picture. I think it's been winning Best Picture for the awards,
like Golden Globes and stuff.
Yeah,
did it win Best Picture at Golden Globes?
It did win Best Picture at Golden Globes.
Because I remember he got Sam Mendes got Best Director for it.
Yeah,
but I don't want to give anything away. It was pretty damn great.
I think that it's competition. I mean, the Oscars are so weird. They do.
What is it? The Irishman, Marriage Story.
Irishman. I don't think Marriage Story was nominated for it. Joker.
I didn't see that.
I want to see
Once Upon
Joker.
a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like the big name people. Yeah. I think that Little Women movie is like kind of the indie film that everyone likes.
Uh-huh.
I'm blanking on a bunch. They do 9 Best Pictures. So that's like crazy. And then like the movies that everybody has seen, like Endgame and Star Wars, those are always like the technological achievement award or whatever.
Yeah.
Sound mixing. I think Star Wars is always nominated for sound mixing, even though I don't think Star Wars really should win any award. I thought Endgame was more impressive technologically than Star Wars. I think
perhaps, yeah. Well, both of them are just. Both of them are just computers, sweating it out.
Right.
It's
I think I would just kind of like to see Endgame win something just because of its, what it meant. It's kind of like it was like the end of like the way I think they deserve more credit for what they accomplished. Like having 20 movies set up, one movie. Yeah. I think it's wildly ambitious and wildly impressive because that's never been done before. Like have a universe intertwined like that. Where all the characters
in film, it's never been done.
Yeah, where all the characters can show up and team up, and they're all from different movies. And
that's based on how the comics would run when they would do those special series of comics, and I
think it's cool, and I think honors really what Stan Lee did with Marvel. It's just is really impressitive.
I suppose they do. Yeah. Well, Kevin Feige should probably get something down the road. I don't know.
Right. I don't know what they got planned. I know that. I assume they're going to do they're critically acclaimed movies where Black Panther and
Ragnarok was great.
Ragnarok was so funny. Oh, that's the other one bring up Ragnarok. Who was the director?
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit. That movie. I was like, I have no idea what it was when I watched the Golden Globes because I'm fascinated. But this is one of my guilty pleasures is watching these award shows. I'm fascinated by Hollywood people. I think they're funny. And they said, "Oh, here's Jojo Rabbit nominated for Best Picture," and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" Yeah. And then I see it, and I'm like, "That movie sounds extremely interesting."
It looks good.
It's like what is it? It's a German boy who's like
his imaginary friend is Hitler.
His imaginary friend is Hitler because the Nazis are brainwashing the kids, Hitler's youth, and they're trying to promote Hitler's your best friend, and his mom is protecting a Jewish girl, and the kid's horrified of Jewish people because the Nazis, and it's like a weird comedy because Taika Waititi's hilarious, and it's kind of like a dark comedy, but also it seems like its message is fascinating.
I don't think it got around here, did it? I don't remember seeing it in the theater.
Right, that's the thing with the Oscars. I tried before every Oscars, I try to watch every Best Picture. So whether it's via streaming or whatever, finding a way to watch them. 1917, I'm probably going to go to a theater and see.
Do it.
Yeah, because I think that you need to.
And the sound and sound is real loud. Those gunshots make you jump. Man.
Yeah, Joker and all the other ones, I think I can just watch at home. But that one I'm definitely seeing in theater. It'll probably make me biased towards it, but I just war movies. I feel in general, you kind of need that vibe going in.
Yeah, I saw Dunkirk in IMAX, and that was great.
Dunkirk, that's probably think of best war movies. Dunkirk, a discussion on a podcast.
Private Ryan.
Yeah, Dunkirk is up there.
Thin Red Line. I think it's one of my favorites.
Apocalypse Now I put up there.
That's more of a war fantasy almost.
Right. Yeah, it's not accurate, but I think it does kind of epitomize what Vietnam probably was like the chaos and the bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's not really. It's a movie set in war. It's not a true war story. Saving Private Ryan's up there. I saw this one movie about. I think it was called Downfall.
Oh yeah,
based on it's
about the last days of Hitler in the bunker
and it's a German movie, and that was
I watched
that.
That
was an interesting perspective. Yeah. It has I think there's a video that circulated around YouTube where they changed the subtitles of the Hitler speech in the room, and they changed it to sports things. So it's there's one where the Bills signed Terrell Owens, and Hitler's a Bills fan. He takes off his glasses because he finds out that they signed Terrell Owens. And he's I just got a James Hardy jersey.
Oh my god,
ridiculous.
Yeah, Downfall was pretty good. Let's see, what other ones? The original All Quiet on the Western Front, the 1930s version. That one's actually really good for an old black and white movie. I believe it's silent as well.
Who's the? Is that a
no?
It's not a poem. Is that a novel or is it?
Yeah, it's a novel. I don't even know if the guy was a veteran at the time, but yeah, it was a novel, and then they made a movie in the 30s of it, and then they made another version in like the 70s or something like that. And I've never seen that one, but the original 30s version is pretty cool.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't put like any of the like the Mel Gibson ones on that pedestal. I don't like
Hacksaw Ridge.
I haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, so I can't really comment.
I liked We Were Soldiers.
We Were Soldiers I thought was good, yeah. I mean,
that was pretty intense.
He does a lot of those. Oh, the Eastwood ones. Letters from Iwo Jima is really good.
Yeah, that was good. And Flags of Our Fathers.
I kind of like the movies from the other side's perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like that, I think that's why I'm intrigued by it. I thought Downfall was fascinating, and I thought like Letters from Iwo Jima is really interesting.
There's an interesting miniseries on Amazon Prime that's a German miniseries called Generation War, and it's about 5 people that get tied up in the German war effort in the Wehrmacht, and I think one of them even ends up as a member of the Einsatz group, and where he
that's
wild. Yeah, and one of them's a cabaret star, and one of them's a nurse, and it's pretty good. It's kind of like one of those HBO miniseries, like Band of Brothers or something. Band of Brothers.
I mean,
that wasn't a movie. That was
but
and the Pacific.
I think that's probably one of my top 2 or 3 of just like entertainment shows based on like war movies.
I've watched it, I think, 3 times. I think I've watched Band of Brothers 3 times front to back.
And I sit through the entire theme every time because the music's so good.
And the Pacific's really good too. I've watched that through a couple of times. That was a good follow-up. I think it got lost in Band of Brothers Shadows. It's very good.
Hanks makes good stuff on HBO.
Yeah,
I think he did. What was the other one? John Adams was really good too. But yeah, I think that does it. I think the Oscars. I think if people want to know or haven't known, I think it's February 9th, 8 on ABC. If you want to get your rich people in dresses.
I feel bad because I used to be a big movie fan and see movies all the time, but ever since I had a kid and this job and everything, I never see movies anymore.
I know.
So I see 1 or 2, like actual adult films a year. Not adult films, but you know what I mean, not kid films. And so I watch the Oscars, and all I do is sit there and go, I wish I would have saw that. I wish I would have watched that movie. I'm filled with regret.
I try to make in college. It started for me where I'm like, I'm gonna make an effort to not sit during the Oscars and be like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it for everything. I think like there's documentary, short film, and all that stuff.
It's hard living where we live. I don't know what the theater scene is in Buffalo, but like in Meadville,
not that good. Yeah. I mean, we did and I was like a film studies minor in college, so like I was always fascinated. Like I took a class called Film Festivals, which was. I mean, my parents were probably so mad, like, paying for all that.
Oh, hey, man, that's great. I love those classes in college.
And I was fascinated. Like, I learned so much stuff, and now I'm this student, like, pretend, like, I act like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. My friends hate me for it. I'm like, the cinematography was all right. And my friends hate me for that. But, I mean, I really enjoy it. Like I think it's my favorite form of entertainment. I love music and stuff, but like, I mean, movies. I think there's just something unique about it, something special about it.
Absolutely.
That's just like fascinating, and like Best Picture movies. Like I didn't realize it until I saw the classes though that like these movies that they put like regular movies like they bought like I nitpick things about like regular movies that come out. Yeah. Which kind of stinks because like I don't know like the Best Picture movies I can tell why they are nominated for that rather than just being a regular movie. But then some of them I think like
what was last Green Book one?
Green Book I did not see.
I didn't see that.
And I was like I'm sure it was great. Like I'm sure like Mahershala Ali is a great actor and so is Viggo Mortensen. Even though I'll always think of him as Aragorn.
I'll always think of him as the bad ghost in Ghostbusters too. Wasn't his name Vigo? Vigo.
Yeah. But him and he like I think of him and that guy, and then he was in The Road. Those are the only two.
Which I never saw The Road. I read the book, but
The Road's really good.
Filmed partially at Coney Lake Park, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, after they had a big fire and everything.
That's fascinating.
They filmed some of it here.
The Buffalo Film movie is what's the A Quiet Place, the one,
really?
the scary movie with the aliens.
They filmed some of that in Buffalo?
I think the entire second one is like filmed in Buffalo.
Tell you what, they just need to put a camera up at the U.S. side of Niagara Falls. That's going to be a scary movie right there because that place is shady.
Yeah. Oh my God. But it's funny because I was thinking about nothing says Buffalo like a movie about like a alien apocalypse.
Yeah, well, we had our own burned down amusement park in Crawford County.
Yeah, and Conneaut Lake is the road, of course, like
road,
which is nuclear holocaust.
Everybody's like, yay, I guess.
But yeah, no, it's just funny stuff like that.
I didn't get to see the road. It looks pretty horrible.
You thought it?
Well, just the book itself was uncomfortable to read, and I never, want to do it again.
It's an uncomfortable watch for sure. It's one of those movies.
Yeah, 1979. I saw Once Upon a Time. We rented it on Amazon the other day. That was pretty great.
Yeah.
I'd still like to watch it a few more times.
Tarantino movies, you kind of got to do that because there's so much talking and.
Well, and this one seems to be more about the vibe of '60s Hollywood and what it was like and stuff like that. And
where do you put it in? Its
I don't know. I'd like to get more. Yeah. I'd like to see it more. I watched it once and then I went back to watch it again, and I guess our rental ended because 12:39 it cut off right in the middle, and it wouldn't let me watch it anymore. So I only got 1.5 times through it.
Because Tarantino has like 9 films, and they're all distinctly Tarantino.
Yeah.
But
except maybe Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown's could be a movie that somebody else has made, like a Soderbergh or something like that.
And I think it's kind of just like what you grew up on, because I know I gear more towards like I think Django is awesome.
Django's awesome,
and I love Inglourious Bastards, even though it's it's goofy and it toys with history.
Well, I was in college when that first wave of Tarantino movies started coming around.
Pulp Fiction,
Reservoir Dogs, and so those were always some of my.
I mean, they're still iconic, and they're still.
I saw Pulp Fiction. So we had to drive to Pittsburgh from Clarion to find a theater that was playing it, and that was one of the most exciting experiences I have when that Pulp Fiction rises up and that Dick Dale song is playing. And I remember going, oh yes! So that's probably still one of my favorite movies. Is that the early wave of Tarantino, because growing up that's what I watched.
Jackie Brown, Django, Inglourious Bastards,
Kill Bill,
both Kill Bills,
The Death Proof,
Hateful Eight, Death Proof, and Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And I think he probably has one more. Yeah, I think that one holds up the least of all of them, because I think. And then I think he has one more.
This is what he's saying.
That's what he wants. He just wants. I mean, he'll probably do 20.
Well, who knows? Apparently he's having a kid now. I just heard his wife's pregnant. He's gonna have his first kid. So who knows?
He's a fascinating person too, because he seems like he definitely like has like a plan. Like he's like, I just want to do 10. Then I'll just he'll probably produce stuff and like. Let other people do stuff. Yeah, I mean he's such a fascinating character. He can do really whatever he wants. He has probably free reign. Like I bet studios just give him a blank check and say go to work.
Well, it seems like all he's ever wanted to do with his life is make movies, and now he's doing it. And now he's saying, "Yeah, I think it would be cool if I just stopped after 10."
Right. Yeah.
It seems like a weird move. Like if I finally got everything I wanted in life. Well, at first, if I knew what I wanted in life, and then I got what I wanted in life, and then I decided, yeah, I'm good after.
And to have the ability to just like. Have somebody tell you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, get a blank check.
We'll let you do whatever you want with it. But yeah, I think he's. I don't know. I think the way Leonardo DiCaprio got shafted for.
He was great
Django,
in Once Upon a Time.
And in Once Upon a Time, I think he's nominated for.
Better be.
I think supporting.
Supporting.
No, he's lead. He's lead. That's right. Brad Pitt's nominated for supporting. And he'll probably win. I think he won.
The funny thing is, I didn't like
Pitt.
No, what's his name? DiCaprio. I didn't like him through like most of his career up to now.
Really?
I don't think I really liked one of his performances until The Departed. And it's because he's always looked like a little kid to me. Right. He always looked like he was doing adult things, but he was just a little kid pretending to be an adult. That's always the way I've seen him. But only until as the crack started showing on his face, I starting to get. The gist of what he was doing. And I think it started with The Departed. It continued with The Revenant. and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that I've really starting to like his work.
I
as an
thought
actor.
his performance in Django Unchained as that
you're right.
sadistic like slave owner, I thought it was like he was horrifying. he was like so like probably the most evil character, one of the most evil characters I can name in a movie. Besides, like he was just like I like cringed when he talked. And it's like, and I was stunned that he didn't win for that. The Revenant, I thought he was really good, just because, like, I mean, it was just kind of him in the cold with a camera.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably the best actor right now. That's like still like active and constantly doing. Wolf of Wall Street, he was really good.
Wolf of Wall Street.
But I feel like he kind of played himself. Like that's like that was kind of like the vibe.
Dude.
Like I feel like he's just that's Leonardo. I could see Leonardo DiCaprio like in like a bar, just like doing that speech. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, you're right. That was pretty good though. Even if he was playing himself, he did it convincingly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the other like nominations.
Well, like maybe I just took him as just a young actor. Doing the Titanic and the Romeo and Juliet.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to break out of like Titanic is such like an iconic movie, and it's like an iconic role, and it's a goofy role.
Yeah.
Because it's really in its heart a goofy movie. I've watched Titanic over, and I'm like, this movie is silly, like. And like I remember, it was like to what it is, it's so like cliche and like everything like that.
Yeah, it's become cliche because of what's come after it as well.
Right.
A lot of the parodies and everything, and how long it's existed in the.
I bet at the time, at the time, it was probably like technologically impressive and like everything was like cool.
Oh yeah.
But like, I mean, I couldn't believe that was like the box office sensation.
They sell the necklace. They used to sell the necklace from the movie late night infomercials. The Heart of the Sea. You could own
the Celine Dion song.
The Celine Dion song. It became a joke because of its size and because of how well it was done and its impact on the culture. But I think it.
But I bet it's hard for. I bet it was hard for DiCaprio to kind of break out like that's Jack Dawson.
Yeah, he did it right. I mean, he kept working right through it.
Yeah.
Good for him, Good for him. He was on, Growing Pains? That's where he got his start.
And now here he is nominated again for lead actor. He
was great in that movie, though. The way he played the little bit of stutter when he was just himself, the self-doubting guy that he was, sitting in that chair with that little girl, and then the performance that he did in the movie or the television show within the movie. It was really something. The layers of his character in that movie were really cool. That might be one of Tarantino's best actor movies. You know what I mean? Because a lot of his dialogue movies, or direction movies, style movies. Where this one might be the best acting movie of his career. Even Christoph Waltz has been great, but he's been Christoph Waltz. You know what I mean? You really you just have to give him
his character in Django and Inglourious Bastards. Like one's like the good version of Christoph Waltz, and one's the evil version of Christoph Waltz. But it's still like the same character, like the same same quirky German guy.
Yeah, it was hilarious, even when he's being menacing or when he's being a good guy.
But yeah, I totally get it. Like the dialogues in both of those movies is like I think Inglourious Bastards like the dialogue makes the movie.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating because it's in like 3 languages.
Yeah, and most of his movies I think are hinge on his dialogue and how snappy his words are and everything like that. But I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, especially Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, is one of the most actorly movies that Tarantino's ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Leo's competition for actor is Joaquin Phoenix is going to be hard to beat for Joker.
Didn't see Joker.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because it's the guy that made The Hangover.
Todd Phillips,
yeah, and like it's like I love Batman, and it's not really about it's not really about Batman. It's more about like mental illness and how society perceives people with mental illness.
Yeah, it's a DC movie.
I think that's why it is absolutely it's a DC movie.
So it's technically a comic book movie.
It is, yeah. It's kind of getting what the hype that I thought The Dark Knight should have gotten. Where like even though The Dark Knight like obviously is not really as. I don't think it really had a message besides this is just entertaining as hell.
That's what's impressive is somebody tackling that role after what Heath Ledger did with it.
And I think that's why I think he deserves all the credit, because I think he did something totally different with the character.
So did Jared Leto.
Yeah, but his wasn't like cat noises and like he did something totally different with the character, but it's still like pulled off. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is a really good actor, and he's really good at playing creepy people.
No, yeah,
like
commodious.
That's what I was thinking. Like I was like, the first time I saw him was that movie. I saw him in Signs, and he was still like a goober and like doing like wacky stuff, and all he was like this ex-baseball player.
The Master, he was pretty great in The Master.
Yeah, him and Philip Seymour Hoffman. That must have been wild to just.
And then To Die For, I believe, was the first time I saw him. The Nicole Kidman movie, To Die For. Who directed that? Somebody famous. But that was a pretty good one. That was, I think, the first time I saw Joaquin Phoenix. Boy, we're getting really in the weeds here.
Yeah. I think we could probably hang it up. We can maybe next week Matt can talk about movies too.
If anybody has made it to the end of this podcast, email me, P.Chito@MeadvilleTribune.com. I want to find out if anybody actually listened to our...
Who is the last actor we talked about? That's the trivia question. Yeah. But yeah,
we need Matt back here to keep us in line.
But I mean, I think that movies are great. Everybody should see them. Support your local theaters, because I think that Netflix is trying to take away from the fun movie experience. Go get your popcorn, and I support.
But Netflix is also opening up avenues for a lot of filmmakers that don't get the chance.
It's like Netflix is doing something that hurts theaters, but also Netflix is great.
I just watched The Two Popes last night. It was phenomenal.
Oh, he's also nominated for Best Actor. Is
Hawkins or Jonathan Pryce?
He was great. He plays the Pope,
the Argentinian Pope. Yeah, I can't remember his name either. His
I got
Pope
that
name.
on my list. The Aaron Hernandez documentary came out today. I gotta watch it.
I don't want to watch that.
It's gonna make me upset, but like I'm intrigued.
I hate that true crime crap. But no, the Two Popes was pretty phenomenal. And it was done by the director of City of God. You ever seen City of God?
City of God is an incredible
Brazilian
movie.
Yeah, it is. All right, enough. We'll continue this next week.
Yeah, we got 3 weeks. We can that's part one of our Oscar series after local sports.
We'll see if we can catch up on all the Oscar films, and then we can dish about it afterwards. And we can talk about what they wore on the red carpet. This is a weird high school sports podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that's what we've decided that it's going to be, though. It's high school sports followed by pop culture.
Okay, very well.
Have a good night.
Yeah, bye.